Hello dear fans. Who took the Bastille? Bastille Day is still considered a national holiday in France, although more than 200 years have passed since this event. But who and why stormed the fortress prison, in which at the time of the capture there were 12 times more guards than prisoners? Why was the Bastille stormed? The Bastille, erected in 1382, was originally supposed to serve as a fortress protecting the approaches to Paris, but with the expansion of the city limits, it lost its strategic importance and began to be used mainly as a prison, mainly for those convicted for political reasons. Many famous politicians and cultural figures of France, and even several books, were guests of the Bastille. It is noteworthy that the first prisoner of the prison was its architect, whose name was Hugo Aubriot. For the French, the Bastille was one of the main symbols of royal omnipotence, since most often they got into it not by a court decision, but thanks to a direct order from the ruling monarch. It is not surprising that it was the day when the Bastille was taken that became the day of the beginning of the Great French Revolution. After the news of the resignation of Jean Necker, a high-ranking official who advocated the granting of equal powers to the so-called Third Estate, unrest broke out in Paris. On July 12, 1789, lawyer and journalist Camille Desmoulins delivered his famous speech at the Palais Royal, in which he called people to arms. It was this speech that served as the main impetus for the siege and storming of the Bastille. After the most famous prison in France was destroyed, a sign was installed in its place with the inscription, "Now they dance here." Taking the royal prison. The day after Desmoulins' speech, the aggressive townspeople seized the arsenal, which gave them the opportunity to approach the Bastille fully armed. On July 14, the delegation invited the Marquis de Launay, the former commander of the prison, to voluntarily leave the building with the garrison. The commandant refused, and the townspeople, under the command of two officers, named Guillain and Ely, began shelling the prison. One of the keys to the Bastille is still kept in the residence of George Washington. This memento was sent to Washington by the Marquis Lafayette. De Launay, who was well aware that reinforcements could not be expected, decided to blow up the castle together with the defenders and attackers, but two of his subordinates took away the torch and demanded a council of war, at which it was decided to surrender the Bastille. The drawbridge was lowered and the Parisians entered the royal prison. Part of the garrison was hanged, and the commandant's head was cut off, although the commanders of the assault tried to prevent atrocities. At the time of the capture of the Bastille, only 7 people were kept in it, 4 were convicted of counterfeiting money, 2 were mentally ill, and the latter was serving time for murder. Thanks for watching.